and welcome to Brunch with Books. Today, we have come up with a special episode for me, and our topic of discussion is what is one strength we have got from our mother. So, let's see what BWB team reveals today. With this, I will reveal first my story. What have I got from my mom is she is a person who believes in building good bond within family. So she has always kept good connection with her in-laws, with her own family, and that's what has given me the treasure of good bonds in both the families. And I love to carry that as I have grown up, I have maintained those bonds. And that's why it becomes beautiful whenever I travel to any relative's place for family function, for festivals. We create more memories together. We have traveled 16 people in a group for, seeing places around. So just imagine how fun that group team would have been. 16 people moving in a big, two, three cars and seeing the same place around, and then we are chilling in the night together, gossiping and haha and he. And that was my life as I was, growing up. So that I'm thankful to her for creating that beautiful bond for me to cherish forever. And another good strength which I have got from my mom is to spread love wherever you go. This has helped me as a person because uh, whatever happens, if you give love, you receive love. So you are never in a very negative state of mind for a long time because there is someone who because of God's blessings or because of that warmth, you find people who gives more love to you wherever you go. And I feel blessed with this. And सफाई कैसे बोल सकती हूँ, that is my mom's way of living that keep the home clean. And thanks to her that I have that good healthy habit to stay clean and live in a very clean and arranged organized place. With this I hand over to Dr. Geeta for her strengths from her mom.
Thank you, Sritapa. Now I would like to share, one precious thing I received from my mother. Call it a life lesson or a crutch to live by if you want to. So let me begin by sharing something about me. I hail from Kodagu, a small hilly district of Karnataka, the land of coffee, pepper, and cardamom. So my journey began at the age of 4, far from home, as my brother and I studied in a boarding school. In those days, good education meant leaving home too early and learning to grow up a little too soon. So as a child, I was very quiet, introverted, and hesitant, unsure about myself. And I found my refuge in books because of my mother. At the age of 3, which is how I remember, my mom would read to me Alice in Wonderland every single night. That ritual, those moments became my first understanding of love, forming tender memories of our bond. And when I moved away, books became the bridge back to her. In the silence of the hostel rooms, in the unfamiliarity of new spaces, they carried her warmth to me. And slowly something magical began to happen. Through the books, I was no longer a child confined to a hostel room. I was traveling across continents, meeting people from different cultures, understanding lives, emotions, and stories far beyond my own world. And somewhere deep within, a dream quietly took root for me to become an author. Books comforted me, connected me globally, showed me the human emotions. Love, loss, hope, and courage are all similar, all universal, whether in Kodagu or across the world, we are all in some way connected. Through my teenage years and through the hostel life, through early marriage, through stepping into the working world, books became my world. And they gave me the courage and allowed me to travel the world even when I was at a standstill. Then I pursued my academics, I built a career, and the dream of writing my book just waited patiently in the wings until life changed everything. My mom passed away suddenly, and within a year, my dad too was gone. My world fell silent. At the same time, my child also left for studies abroad. The house felt emptier than ever before. And for the first time in my life, I struggled to find a reason to move forward each day. And then a story found me. Vaidehi, my mom's story. She was just a 5 years old child traveling across continent alone. Not because she was brave, but because she had no other choice. And as I began to write her story, I began to heal. Because as I wrote Vaidehi, I poured my grief, my fears, my questions into her. And in return, she gave me something priceless, resilience. She reminded me that life will challenge us again and again, but our inner strength, our refusal to give up is what carries us through. Writing Vaidehi made me an author. It gave me back my purpose. And today, when readers from different years, parts of the world, tell me that they see themselves in my stories, I'm reminded once again that the connection books gave me, the love for books my mom gifted me as a child, now has come full circle. Today, when I write through my stories rooted in the culture and the traditions of Kodagu, I share not just my voice but a piece of my soul with the world. So what my mom gave me lives in every story I write, in every word I choose, and every life my stories touch. I believe as long as I write, my mom lives and her gift lives on. So I now pass the mic to Dr. Siddharth to share his reflection. Thank you.
Wow, that is so beautifully expressed, Dr. Geeta, and I can see that warmth and love and lots of care and knowledge which you and wisdom which you have inherited from your mother. I have read Vedehi and it's an amazing story. So beautiful, you have said. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much, Shitapa, for talking about your mom's qualities. I feel uh, moms are universally good. I feel like that because my mom, uh, though she was very kind and very warm-hearted person. She always had this dream that she gives us the best value system, and that was, I think, the foundation which I remember always, which has come from her. There have been times when she didn't understand things because we coming from Bengali culture, we were staying in completely outside the state. We were staying in Dehradun. The culture, the normal talking language was Hindi. Everything was very different. But one thing which stayed with her was always that whatever that place is, if you are warm and kind, people will accept you and help you. So and then she had this great skill about of attention to detail, which is everywhere. Whether it was her cooking, whether it was her connection with nature, whether it was studies, whether it was any of her work, everywhere she had this thing that if I can do something. If I can understand something better, then I can actually achieve a better result. So with that, basically, she had helped during my schooling. I was actually faltering in my Hindi sessions. She took up the charge to actually, the teacher had given up on me, but she took a charge on actually teaching me Hindi, though she had no clue of how to talk in Hindi. But she took a charge of that, and I passed with flying colors. Even my teacher was surprised that how can I, because she had outwardly said that I cannot be taught Hindi at all. But then when I passed, she was really surprised by my mother's dedication to teach me Hindi. So, and then her love with nature, she loved nature like anything because we had a small farm at our in our backyard, and uh, whether it's ladyfinger, whether it's mango those seedlings she would sow, or there were actually some flowers she loved. She sowed seeds with so much love that even before that backyard, before the time when she had started, the backyard was completely barren. And the person who we used to live in a rented apartment, rented place, and the owner used to tell us that nothing will grow there. She took it on her that I will make sure that something fruitful grows here there, and she actually had vegetables, flowers, a lot of things she was growing there, and she showed the owner that how do you have to grow that much. So when you, and that also told me this that when we seed this something, anything, whether it is thought or a seed or a knowledge, with love, with care, with proper attention, with the details which are required for nurturing it, we are always able to grow it to a level which is, shows that result, the result of goodness, the result of care and love. It comes out very naturally. and you really don't have to work that hard. You just have to push yourself a little bit every day to make sure that happens. Every day you water, every day you nurture, every day you do things which are required, and slowly and steadily things actually happen. So it is not like you have to really do a lot, push yourself a lot, but you can do it in a regular way, and not pressuring yourself. So that was one of the lessons I had learned, that how to come out of stress easily. So, and that maybe one of the things, maybe why now when I become a purpose clarity coach, I have written so many books. People actually wonder that how can I write so many books? I have written 41 plus books recently. I released in 3 years. So people say that how can you even do that? Because I never feel pressure. And that is, I think, a big learning which I got from her. And it's amazing to remember her with my work. And I know she's not there with me, but she's living within me. So that's my tribute to her on Mother's Day. Thank you so much for listening in. I will give it to over to Sujata ji for sharing her one lesson. Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth. Now, when I think of one thing I got from my mother, I think I would say silent strength. Like people do tell me also that there is some strength in me, though I don't know what it is, what they see. And I remember my mother. She never preached. She lived the values she wanted me to live. I am who I am now because of my mother. Not because of what she told me, but because of how she lived. My mother never gave long lectures. In fact, I don't remember her ever sitting down with me to teach values, but I remember watching her. I still remember my 11th board exams in Kolkata. At that time, conjunctivitis was spreading everywhere. My mother took every precaution to protect me. She gave me a separate room so I could stay isolated and study. Meals would come through a slightly open door. Her way of caring was something amazing. And yet I got infected. My eyes wouldn't stop watering. I couldn't even read a single word. Forget revising for my next day's board paper. And that's when she stepped in. She sat beside me, read out every chapter I needed to study, line by line, page by page. And that's how I prepared. The next day in the exam hall, I could barely see what I was writing. My eyes were streaming. I was almost guessing my answers. But I kept going because somewhere her strength had already become mine. That was my mother, patient, steady, unwavering. But her strength showed itself even more in the toughest moments. There was a time when my brother, he was studying in the IIT, one day received a telegram. It said he was no more. A fatal accident. Those were the days without mobile phones. There was no way to immediately check if it was true. For any mother, that moment would break everything. She was shattered. I could see it even physically, but she didn't lose herself. She read the telegram again, and then she did something remarkable. She turned it over and noticed the postmark. It had been sent from Kolkata itself. In that moment, through her pain, her mind stayed clear. She realized this could not be true. It was a cruel prank. To this day, we don't know who did it, but I will never forget what she showed me that day. Even in the face of the worst possible fear, she chose calm over panic, clarity over chaos. That was her strength, and it didn't stop there. As a family, we went through financial ups and downs, but she never let us feel the burden. She carried it quietly with dignity. I remember her determination to get my brother admitted into La Martinia, one of the best schools. She followed up relentlessly day and night, no noise, no complaints, just action, and achieved it. And without realizing it, I was learning also how to live. Years later, when I got married into an Orthodox family, I faced resistance when I wanted to step out and work. And I remember asking myself, what would my mother have done? I knew the answer. She wouldn't have argued loudly. She wouldn't have created conflict. She would have stayed calm, stood her ground, and slowly made people understand. So that's what I did. Quietly, patiently, firmly. And that decision changed the course of my life. So today, when I look back, I realize my mother never preached. She never taught me in words. She lived her values, her patience. That became my strength. Her calm, that taught me clarity. Though sometimes I do become emotional. Now that is something, maybe as you grow up, other events also cast their shadow on you. But a quiet courage, that is something that has always stood me by, and it has always shown me whenever I'm in any kind of problem, I look up. She would have smiled, stayed strong, gentle, peaceful. So that is my tribute to her today on Mother's Day. Now, I would like to hand over the mic to Jasbir for her insights, for her memories, whatever she learned from her mother. Over to you, Jasbir.
That was a very emotional and inspiring part of your life that you shared with us, Sujata ji. Thank you. Thank you for sharing because I understand how it must feel to miss your mother. Um, so, as far as I'm the only child, and my mother has been a silent warrior all through her life because when she was young, she had a lot of health issues and you know she was very strong throughout her life and as she married into a joint family, there are a lot of things that she had to adapt to, and I was a silent observer, like how Sujata ji mentioned. I was observing what my mother was doing and learning from her without being told. Discipline, patience, perseverance. The most important thing is that the attitude of not giving up. I mean, there have been many situations in life that anyone else would have given up, but she taught me not giving up. One of the incidents that I remember is uh, one of my exams during my CA exams. We followed this policy. Obviously, we didn't have any mobile phones. We used to disconnect the landline, and so that I would not get disturbed. I mean, that was the kind of dedication that I had to maintain, and that was the kind of support that my parents gave me, no communication with the outside world so that I could focus, no kind of disturbance. Now, unfortunately, I lost my uncle, my mother's brother, and for 2 days after he passed away, we didn't know that he had passed away, and she was very close to him. And it's my uncle's family connected with my father's brother, who was in Mumbai, and he passed on the message to our neighbors. And when they came and rang the doorbell, is when we came to know that my uncle had passed away. And it was quite a shock for all of us. And my mother carried herself very calmly. She did not uh, you know you know eh, get very excited about it, or you know she did not break down. She was obviously very hurt and she was shocked. It was too much for her to take, and the worst is that she didn't know about it for 2 days, and obviously his funeral was already complete. And she waited for my exams to get over before she actually proceeded uh, to meet the family and spend time with her family. So that is the kind of strength that she showed without actually proclaiming it and making it a big thing. She stayed calm and she stayed stable in all these situations where other people would have completely broken down and got jittered, so that I could achieve what I wanted to. So the kind of silent support that she gave is something that I have witnessed all through my life. And then she also taught me not to give up. I remember after my 10th standard exams, we had a break before we started college, and she was teaching me how to make rotis. And I hated to cook. And I was a teenager who wanted to have fun, who didn't want to sit and do that cooking part and making rotis, because my rotis used to come out all shapes and sizes. The entire globe was, all the countries of the world were visible in those rotis that I made. So she kept insisting and she kept pursuing me, and she said that come what may, whether you like it or you don't, you have to do it. And I still remember that stayed with me. Whether you like it or not, you have to do it. So when it comes to doing something, you have to do it. It's finally on you whether you want to do it happily, or you want to sob and cry about it. So, and this really helped me during COVID, because I'm sure all of us know that when we didn't have any, in India, like we are so used to having attendants and helpers to help us cook and, do odd jobs at home. Here, without anyone to help us, we were completely independent and we had to manage. And all these skills come to help in these situations. And I'm grateful that she kept insisting that I didn't have a choice. And that kind of discipline, that kind of determination really helped. So all these values that I learned with her have stayed with me, and I'm so grateful that she is what she is. And as I realized that when I lost my father, uh, I didn't really connect with him in the last 1 month of his ill health, and he was suffering a lot. And I felt that I wish I had written a poem, when I saw him suffer so much. And unfortunately, I didn't read it out to him. Those were my internal feelings. So I decided, and that's when I realized that I should write a book dedicated to mothers. So my first debut book was Not Without My Mother, which are emotional short stories about mother and child bonding and the kind of challenges that every mother faces. And that was the way I wanted to dedicate my whatever I have achieved in life to my mother in the form of these stories. So that's what I learned from my mother, and I'm happy that I am what I am because of her. So thank you, and I now hand it over to Shritapa to conclude today's session.
Thank you, Jasbir. And that was really an inspiring, precious moments from your mother. And I'm sure many people have got inspired listening that precious memory of yours. And to everyone today have shared their precious memories from their mothers and the strength they have received from them and what makes BWB team so unique and heartfelt. So I'm sure this conversation has taken everyone back to their memory lanes, how they have received confidence, strength from their mother, and live that as a legacy in their family, and how everyone's mother have played important role in their life, shaping who they are today. So whatever we are today, it's all because of our mothers. And some of us have learned courage, resilience, patience, nurturing, kindness, and so many things from these amazing people whom we call as mothers. And this is our way of showing love to them, celebrate them, and because they have taught us to love, care for our dreams, and rise again no matter what. And somewhere that strength comes from our mother, from within. So today is a tribute to everyone, that invisible strength that is quietly passed on to us, and to them who takes care of anyone around them like a mother, and even to the pet moms. So a special episode from BWB. Hope you have liked it, enjoyed it, and tata, bye bye, take care.